Hi second graders, it's Miss Harler here. Today I have a mini lesson video for you about point of view. So this is something that we've been working on so far this week. Let's do a quick review. I wrote a couple questions here that go with point of view. And I tried to draw some eyes here. The reason that I drew eyes was because when we're talking about point of view, we're thinking about who is telling us the story. We're seeing the story through somebody's eyes, one of the characters or multiple characters' eyes. It's like we're them. So we're seeing how they're thinking, how they're feeling, how they're acting, right? We're looking kind of through their eyes and seeing what the story is. So I have point of view. The first question we need to ask ourselves when talking about point of view is who is telling the story? You saw with Miss Quinlan's video that sometimes there can be multiple points of view, right? With The Day the Crayons Quit, we heard about a lot of different crayons' point of view. So some books have one point of view. We hear about the story from one character's point of view. For example, the Junie B. Jones books, right? We always hear the story from the point of view of Junie B. Jones. She tells us what's going on. She tells us how she's thinking and how she's feeling. We're kind of inside her head. And then in other stories, like The Day the Crayons Quit, we're able to bounce around and get different points of view so we can see how other characters are feeling and what they're seeing around them. A really important part of point of view is also how does this person, the person that we're seeing the story through, how do they feel? Because if we are seeing the story through their eyes, we can see how they're thinking and how they're feeling, and then how their actions are determined by how they're thinking and feeling. So I have a story for you today. And when we talk about point of view, it can be tricky to figure out whose point of view we're seeing a story from. But there are some clue words that we can look out for to see who's telling us the story. If someone in a story is saying, I think this, I would do this, we know that the story is coming from the person who is saying I. So that's a really good clue word. Now, this is a really nice story. I know the students in my class are fans of this one. This is called If I Had a Raptor. So like I told you, that's a clue word, if I had a raptor. So I'm seeing a picture of a raptor and a little girl here. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna see that this little girl is the one who's telling us the story, but I'm not sure yet. I need to read first and figure it out. So this story is If I Had a Raptor, and it's by George O'Connor. All right, it says, if I had a raptor, I'd want to get her as a baby when she's all teensy and tiny and funny and fluffy. I saw I there two times. If I had a raptor, I'd want to get her as a baby. So we really are inside this character's head, and there's the baby raptor. A baby raptor is so teensy and tiny that she would be easy to lose. I'd give her a little bell so I could always find her. Ring-a-ding-ding, there you are. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, this person who's saying I over and over again could be this little girl, right? Because I'm starting to see her appearing on more pages. Baby raptors are the cutest. If I had a raptor, she would like to sit on my lap and I would let her. So I'm thinking we're inside her head, right? She'd want to sit on my lap, I would let her. Even when she grows up, she would still like to sit on my lap. A raptor likes nothing better than a nice warm spot. My raptor would bask on a sunny windowsill or snuggle in the clean laundry. So she's saying my raptor, right? So we're still hearing the story from her point of view. She would even settle on my homework or in any cozy little space, really. My raptor would like to sleep. She would sleep a lot. She would sleep all day long. Because she will definitely run around like crazy. She will run around like crazy all night long. No thanks. Raptors have special eyes that let them see in the dark. Ring-a-ding-ding, I don't. See how she gets startled by the raptor. So again, I'm seeing I, so we're still in her perspective, her point of view. No matter how late she stays up, my raptor would wake me up nice and early. She would let me know when she's hungry or not. If I had a raptor, I would have to teach her what's right and what's wrong. I might even have to trim her claws a little bit now and then. She would always forgive me, though. Good girl. All raptors like to hunt. If I had a raptor, she would stalk the little things that catch her eye, like birds or bugs or even a dust bunny. Sometimes she would stare at nothing at all, or at I wouldn't even know what. And sometimes she might just stare at me. So again, we're seeing I, my, me. She's just said me. If I had a raptor, ring-a-ding-ding, there you are. It would be the best thing ever. Let me see that last page there. So that was a super quick story, but I chose this story for point of view because she is saying I over and over again. If this was the situation, this is what I would do, right? If I had a raptor, I would teach her the difference between right and wrong. I would feed her when she's hungry. So we're really seeing it from her perspective. We don't know how the raptor is feeling. Maybe it'd be interesting if the book was from the raptor's point of view. What does the raptor think about being a pet and having this little girl taking care of her? We don't know because the book is from the little girl's point of view. So let's go back to those two questions that I started us off with. Who is telling us the story? My answer would be the little girl is telling us the story. She was not given a name, and probably the reason we didn't find out her name was because she was always saying I. So there was no reason for her to say what her name was. How does this person feel? I can say from the story, and I could go back and get evidence, that she feels that if she had a raptor, she would take really good care of it. My evidence there is that she says that she would feed the raptor and she would trim the raptor's claws, right? So there's my evidence that she would take good care of the raptor. And then really at the end is when we find out how she would feel about it, because she said, if I had a raptor, it would be the best thing ever. So since we're inside her head and listening to her thoughts, she's telling us, I would love this. It would be the best thing ever. You can tell it's something that she really cares about. So that is point of view for today. There's an activity that's going to go along with this, so please check that out, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.